Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is one of the best shooters ever made. Now, if you're anything like me, you probably spent a large majority of your time growing up playing the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, or the Wii. And if you fall into that category, I'd say at least 50% of you, while looking for cheap games that your parents wouldn't have a heart attack at the sight of, stumbled across this: Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare. And in my opinion, this game is more fun than most games released today. And yes, I know that old thing good, new thing bad has been said 1 zillion times on this website, but I genuinely think that this game is different. But why? What makes this game special? How is it any different to other games that released around the same time? And what is it like today? Well, over the past month or so, I've been doing countless experiments, research, and most of all, waiting for the servers to be fixed. And I think I've finally figured it out. This is Garden Warfare, the best game nobody plays anymore. On May 5th, 2009, PopCap Games released a game called Plants vs Zombies. The premise of the game was pretty simple. It was a tower defense game where you had to defend your house from incoming waves of zombies by planting plants. Each plant had different abilities to help fend off the zombies, such as the pea shooter shooting peas, the sunflower getting you more sun so you can get more plants, and the walnut that kind of just sits there. Additionally, there were some extra modes such as Zen Garden, Puzzle Mode, Survival Mode, and, of course, Walnut Bowling. Because of all this content and how addictive and easy to understand the gameplay was, this game got really popular. But while it originally only released on PC, in 2011 it was released on mobile, and it absolutely skyrocketed its popularity. It's as if it was made for phones, and it could be played anywhere without any internet connection necessary. Because of the huge popularity the game had gotten, PopCap quickly began working on a sequel called Plants vs Zombies 2, which was similar to the original game, but expanded on all of its original ideas, with new zombies, new plants, new areas, and improvements to the core features of the game. But, like every game company ever, an idea was looming above them, like a hawk or a flying zombie, and that was a spin-off game. Now, as you probably know already, spin-off games go one of two ways. They either suck or really suck. But it's okay, there are still some good ideas they could come up with. They could make like a 3D version of the original game, that could be fun. Or maybe some sort of Plants vs Plants game where you can fight other people online. Whatever it is, I'm sure they'll play it safe. What? It's not like they're gonna make a Plants vs Zombies shooter game. They made a Plants vs Zombies shooter game. At E3 2013, PopCap announced Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, and the crowd went crazy. While the initial E3 announcement is the most depressing thing I've ever seen,
this multiplayer action title, it won't just tickle your funny bone, it'll chew the whole damn thing off.
people were actually pretty excited for this game. For example, Akil said, "This was the best game of EA's show. If you think otherwise, bring it," which is a bit threatening, Akil. Calm down. And over the next few months, PopCap continued to release more info about the game, with new trailers, behind the scenes footage, and gameplay. With the main marketing gimmick being that we're not like other shooters. We're quirky and weird, we're crazy, you can't take us anywhere. Which, for the intended audience of children, worked really well. And on the 25th of February 2014, it was released on Xbox, and slowly released on everything else on like random days over the coming months, which was, in retrospect, very weird. But eventually it was fully released and it was out. But was it good? Well, if you've read the title of the video, it kinda spoils it, but yeah, it's actually really good. Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare is a third-person hero shooter where you can either play as plants or zombies. Each team has 4 selectable characters that each have completely different fighting styles, along with 3 unique abilities. Starting with the plants, you've got the pea shooter. This is the character that everyone chooses first. It's as default as you can get. He shoots high damage single shot peas that are effective at long range, but works best at medium range. His first ability is the chili bean bomb. It's a grenade, basically. You throw it, and after a few seconds it explodes. His next ability is P Gatling, where you dig yourself into the ground and basically become a stationary turret. You can then shoot faster automatic rounds at the trade-off of less damage. Additionally, you'll become a target for every single zombie in the game and get blown up in seconds. His final ability is called Drugs, where you get a temporary speed boost and can jump insanely high. The great thing about the pea shooter is that while he's very simple to play and great for newcomers, he also has a really high skill ceiling, especially because of a certain feature that I'll talk about later. A tier. The next plant is the Sunflower, which is basically the healing character. But rather than being entirely support based, she's actually really powerful offensively. Her main attack is an automatic rifle that she shoots out of her face that deals a decent amount of damage, but her abilities make her stand out. Her first ability is the Hero Shooter Heal Beam. You know, the thing that's in every single class-based video game? Yeah, that's the ability. Her second ability is Sunbeam, where you dig into the ground and become Homelander. And her final ability is the Heal Flower, which allows you to plant a flower that provides healing to you and your teammates anywhere on the map. The Sunflower isn't my favourite character, but if you don't have at least one on your team, you're not going to go very far. B tier. The next character is the Chomper, which is the big guy. Additionally, this is the only melee character in the game. You attack people by biting them, or you can go full on spy and attack people from behind to get a not so instant kill. His first ability is Purple Goo. If you cover someone in your goo, shut up, they get slowed down massively, which makes them much easier to kill. His second ability is Burrow, where you dig under the ground and can chomp zombies from below. His last ability is Spikeweed, which is a camouflage trap that will damage and grab any zombies that accidentally walk into it. Personally, this is my least favourite character. Having to get up so close to every single person you want to kill can be really difficult when there's more than like 2 of them. E tier. The final plant is the Cactus, and this is the Sniper, kinda. Not really, but it's like the closest character to a sniper. The Cactus shoots single-shot, high-damage spikes that are most effective at long range. However, spamming this will cause your accuracy to lessen over time. Her first ability is Potato Mine, which is pretty much just a landmine. You put it down, and if a zombie walks over it, they get blown up. Her second ability is Garlic Drone, which is probably one of the most powerful single abilities in the game. By using it, you gain control of a flying drone that you can use to not only shoot people with, but launch full-on airstrikes on people too. But it has really low health, so you gotta really focus on your positioning. And finally, she has Tall Nut's Battlement, where she puts down a walnut wall that can be used to protect you from incoming fire. Overall, I think that the Cactus is probably my favourite plant, because while it's not as consistently powerful as the pea shooter, I feel like it's a lot more fun, at least for me. S tier. Now, onto the zombies, also known as everyone's favourite. Let's be honest, it's everyone's favourite, okay? We don't need to lie. They're cooler, alright? First up, there's the Foot Soldier. And okay, you know when I said that the pea shooter was as default as you could get? I lied. This guy is. This is the Jonesy of this game. His primary attack is gun. Shoot gun, bullets kill. His first ability is Gas. It's a grenade that both creates a smoke cloud that lowers visibility and damages plants that stay in it. His second ability is Rocket Jump, which is probably the most useful ability in the game. It gives you an absolutely huge boost into the air that allows you to get pretty much wherever you want on the map, which is very useful when there are like no invisible barriers anywhere. Yes, you heard me, I'm going to talk about it later. His third ability is ZPG, which is a rocket launcher. You charge up a rocket that does an unbelievable amount of damage, which is both incredibly satisfying to land and the equivalent of a FNAF jump scare if you're playing as a plant. The Foot Soldier is, without a doubt, the best character in the game, and probably is the most fun to play, but it's also the sweatiest character in the game, so he goes in S and F tier. Next up is the Engineer. Not that one. That's the wrong guy. Yep, no, that's him. Yeah, good job. The Engineer is equipped with a gun that shoots concrete projectiles that explode on impact. Jesus, where was this creativity with the Foot Soldier? His first ability is Sonic Grenade, where he throws a megaphone that stuns anybody in its explosion radius, including burrowing chompers. His next ability is the Zombot Drone, and by using it, you gain control of a flying drone that can be used to not only shoot people with, but launch full-on airstrikes on people too. Hang on, I've said this before. And his last ability is the Jackhammer, which increases your your movement speed massively and shows off your ass a bit more. But additionally, the engineer can also set up teleporters at certain points in the maps, along with defense sentries around it. This alone makes the engineer really powerful for the team, and he's also just really fun. A tier. Next, there's the scientist. His main weapon is a goo blaster that's only really effective at close range. It's basically a shotgun. His sticky explodey ball ability is a sticky grenade. It's kind of boring, to be honest. But next, he's got a straight up tracer blink ability. After charging for a second, you teleport forward in a straight line, which is both useful for mobility and sneaking behind opponents. And finally, he's got the zombie heal station, which heals any zombies within its radius. Being the only real healer zombie, this character is nowhere near as strong as the Sunflower in my opinion, at least when it comes to supporting your team. But he's still fun, don't get me wrong, so he goes in C tier. And finally, the last character in Garden Warfare is the All-Star. This is the big guy. Again, he's equipped with a straight up minigun and has the most health of any character in the game. His first ability is Exploding Baby. He boots a newborn at the enemies and the fucker detonates. His next ability is Sprint Tackle, where he charges forward, both dealing damage to and knocking back anyone in its path. And lastly, he has the Dummy Shield, which is a shield that you can put down. Now, while this character sounds extremely overpowered, in practice he isn't amazing, but he can still be powerful if you have competent teammates. B tier. And that is every character in the game. Jack, there's actually another character in the game. Oh, really? What? Why haven't I seen it in any of my matches? You probably just missed it, but apparently if you don't mention it, someone posts your full address in the comments, so... Okay, how do you even know that? I've not made the video yet. He left. Okay, great. The other character is Boss Mode, and listen, I love this game, alright? It's really good, and I've got loads of stuff to say about what makes it so good in a second, but this mode is ass. The idea of being able to control multiplayer matches like you're playing the original game is a really cool idea, but this just sucks so bad. It's so boring. You wait so long to do anything, and they don't even give you like a live view of the game. You just get PNGs. This looks like it was made on Scratch. Don't believe me? It is! Okay, so now I've gone over all of the base characters in the game, but what if I told you that there was even more to these characters? In fact, what if I told you that every single character in the game has 7 additional variants that completely change how they play? Well, I would be lying. Some of them have 8. These variants both completely change how the characters look and also change their primary attack. Now, it would take way too long to go through all of these, so I'll just give you a few examples. You've got the Plasma P, which changes your regular single shot to a charge shot that does even more damage. There's the Citrus Cactus, which changes your single shot attack to a burst shot attack. You've got the Electrician variant for the Engineer, which gives him a gun that shoots electricity that can chain across multiple plants. And of course, you've got Chester Chomper and Dr. Chester. You know, from the Cheetos collab. This huge amount of variety with the characters adds so much replay value to the game, because not only are you able to unlock new characters to try, every fight you get into will play slightly differently because of them. And just when you think they can't possibly do any more options for gameplay customization, every single ability in the game has a variant. You've got stuff like the Dark Flower for the Sunflower, which instead of healing your teammates, shoots red lasers at your enemies. There's the Multi-Rocket for the Foot Soldier, which shoots 4 mini rockets instead of 1 big one. And of course, you've got all the cheesy abilities, you know, for the Cheetos collab. All of these features mean that if a Count Chompula comes up to you, you don't know if they're going to cover you in purple goo, yellow goo, or I'm not saying it. Okay, now all this is great and all, but the game doesn't just revolve around the characters. Games rely on what you can actually do in the game, which brings me on to the next topic, the gambling. No, sorry, the game modes, yeah. The game modes. The game consists of 2 major game modes, Garden Ops and Multiplayer. In Garden Ops, you and up to 3 other friends play as plants in a co-op tower defense mode. You start by choosing one of 8 maps, which each have their own distinct look and theme. Once you're in game, you start by choosing one of 3 gardens around the map as your base, and then you get some prep time to put down plants you've collected through gambling, which will help you defeat the incoming waves of zombies. There's a set amount of zombies that spawn each wave, and they can range from being regular brown coat zombies zombies to special zombies and sometimes even character zombies. After you've gotten through 4 waves of zombies, you're presented with more gambling. Jesus Christ, these developers had a problem. Where the game will decide what 3 random bosses you'll have to face in the next wave. If you're lucky, you can instead get some in-game currency. But if you're unlucky, you'll get a super boss wave, where stronger themed zombies will come and attack you, along with 3 of the same boss. My favourite is the Yeti because they run around like a massive baby. After defeating all 10 waves, which includes a second boss spin, you have to go across the map to reach the extraction point and wait for Crazy Dave to pick you up in his battle bus. Completing this mode will give you in-game currency, and the amount will vary depending on which difficulty setting you choose at the start, ranging from somewhat challenging to genuinely impossible. How does anyone beat this game on crazy mode? Seriously, it is impossible. I feel like a toddler playing this mode. Multiplayer, on the other hand, is like Overwatch, but good. There are multiple game modes you can play, such as Team Vanquish, which is basically team deathmatch, Suburbanation, where your team has to gain control over 3 control points to win, and the main multiplayer mode, Gardens and Graveyards. The main premise of this mode is pretty simple. The plants team have to defend a series of gardens across the map, and the zombies team have to capture them. But the twist is, depending on the map you get, the final objective will be completely unique. For example, the final objective on the Walnut Hills map is for 5 zombies to get inside Crazy Dave's mansion. But to get there, they have to make their way up a huge slope while deadly walnuts roll down it. God, nobody's ever going to take me seriously. On Main Street, the zombies have to plant 4 bombs to blow up the Tactical Cuke. On Driftwood Shores, the zombies have to assassinate Big Sunflower, and on Cactus Canyon, you have to push the payload from Team Fortress 2. These map-specific objectives mean that different characters are going to be more powerful depending on the map. This game thrives off its ability to be chaotic, but still involve a lot of strategy, and that's shown through these maps. So, you're probably sitting there thinking, wow, this game seems perfect, and it pretty much is. The characters are fun, and the game modes and maps are really creative, but what is the game actually like? Specifically, what is the game like now, in the current year of whatever year you're currently watching this video in, so I don't break your immersion? Well, I wanted to find out for myself, so I installed the terrible, shitty, horrible EA launcher and bought the game as a business expense. You see this, IRS? It's a business expense. Okay. Stop turning up at my house. Welcome, Matt. Who the hell's Matt? Alright, let's play some Team Vanquish. That'll be good. Alright, Team Zombies. I'm ready. Let's go. Oh. Holy shit! Listen, Dan, I'm happy you came. I'm happy you're here, but I am going to destroy you. There you are. Come on, Dan. Oh, you're healing, are you? You're healing, are you? Get destroyed! Alright, just gotta do that 50 more times, then I'll win. He didn't expect the flank. Mustard gas! Listen, Dan, I'm sorry, but you're never gonna make it in the esports scene with moves like that. Unlucky, mate. Oh my god, we got people. We got people! Oh shit. That guy's cheating. Oh, wait, never mind. Oh, get out of here! Get out of here! You can't leap at me like that! Sir, a second Tactical Cuke has hit Crazy Dave. This actually might be harder than being at war. Right, fine. Listen, I've got a cool hat. This really got me thinking about how, like, difficult it must have been for the soldiers in World War II. Like, you're just sitting in trenches for days, for, like, months. And like, what if someone throws like a chili bean bomb? Then you're fucked. Jesus Christ! If this guy kills me, this game sucks. This game sucks. After playing Garden Warfare in its current state, I can safely say it is just as fun as it was 10 years ago. And I've even come to appreciate a lot of stuff that I didn't take notice of before. For example, there are very few invisible barriers in this game, which means that in both PvE and PvP, you can basically go wherever you want. Obviously, you can't just like leave the map, but every building, mountain, hillside, anywhere where you think would be a good spot to be in isn't blocked off. Also, you can do this. I also really love how this game looks. As someone who isn't too fond of overly realistic games, I really love how everything in this game looks cheap. And I'm not saying that the models or textures in this game were actually cheap. I mean that the maps in this game look like they were purposefully made to look like somewhere you'd find yourself in once and absolutely hate it. Like, this looks like the sort of place where there'd be a stand selling Huggy Wuggy and Among Us plushies, right? That's not just me. And overall, this game is just plain fun when you actually find people playing. The only thing holding this game back currently is that you can only really find people playing Gardens and Graveyards and sometimes Garden Ops. Not one time was I able to find a match of Team Vanquish that had more than one person in it, and no matches of Suburbanation or Gnome Bomb. However, I'll let him off of that one because it's Gnome Bomb. But in the instances where I found a full lobby of people playing, I had the most fun I've had playing a shooter game in years. It's just something about how casual this game is that makes it so fun. Obviously, I did run into the occasional good player, but because of how random the encounters are and how, honestly, unbalanced the game can be at times, I never really felt like I was truly useless against anyone. With the rise of esports and people getting unbelievably good at games quicker than ever, in a lot of games, shooters predominantly, if you're not playing just one game constantly, it can sometimes feel like you're always going to be behind everyone. There's no worse feeling than going back to a game you used to love and play all the time, only to be absolutely decimated by Zero Ping Jacob 10 times in a row. And that's nothing against the games or even the players really, but it makes games like this stand out. When a game isn't in the spotlight anymore, I don't feel like I'm going against the world, because I'm not. This game feels like it's preserved in its 2014 form. The devs haven't gone back and changed stuff about it. The servers are still up and running most of the time, and I wouldn't be surprised if the few people that are still playing are just like me, trying to revisit something that brought them hours upon hours of joy back when stuff didn't matter, and the biggest thing to worry about was unlocking the Cheeto character. I feel safe in this game, and if you played it years ago and had forgotten about it, maybe you will too. Boss mode fucking sucks though. Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 is one of the best shooters ever made. Again. Okay, you know what, I don't need to do the cool video essay intro thing again. I've already done that in my first video, and half of you stopped watching. That wasn't funny, guys. Don't do it again. But before I start, in this video I'm not going to talk about any of the stuff I've already talked about in my first video. So if you haven't seen that, bam, those are called special effects, by the way. Look it up. Go and watch that first. But please do come back. Like, I need you to come back. All good? Okay. This is Garden Warfare 2. No, it's backwards. In 2014, Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare was released to critical acclaim. It was clear that almost everyone loved this game for its characters, its surprisingly great gunplay, and the huge amount of replayability. So much so that in 2015, it reached a total of 6 million players worldwide. For comparison, in 1 year, Modern Warfare 2 reached 25 million players, which is more, but 6 million is pretty impressive for a game that features Cheeto DLC. So, expectedly, PopCap were eager to make a sequel as soon as possible. And so, at E3 2015, Jesus, how fast did they make this game? Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2 was announced. So, despite the panel itself not being any better than the first, fans of the first game were excited. The game was marketed as basically more Garden Warfare. Rather than reworking the game or removing features, PopCap was set on improving the core aspects of the game, and most of all adding way more content and quality of life features. Take notes. They also announced that they were going to put a big focus on constantly updating the game throughout its lifespan, which put to rest people's worries that they were going to crank out like 50 Garden Warfare games. And after 8 months of more trailers with copyrighted music and a short beta, Garden Warfare 2 was officially released on PS4, Xbox One, and somehow, I don't know how they did it, but somehow It is even better than the first one. Let me quickly speedrun what the premise of the game is, because I've already explained it in my first video. Garden Warfare is a third-person hero shooter franchise with two teams, plants and zombies. Each character has their own abilities, weapons, different variations, blah blah blah, no one cares. Talk about the new stuff, I'm bored. The most immediately apparent change is no longer, as a species, are we restricted to a home menu. Ew. Yucky. But now, there is a full-on hub world that you just spawn straight into. And not only is this where you access everything you could in the first game, like different game modes, characters, and yes, gambling, don't worry, but there's also single-player missions that you can progress through. In Garden Warfare 1, the closest thing to a single-player mode was Garden Ops, which wasn't really single-player. But in this game, there's pretty much an entire game's worth of content in the hub. There's mini-games, quests, secrets, and daily tasks that you can complete to level up and get currency, which was something the first game was lacking. It's also really useful for getting footage of the new characters. Oh. Garden Warfare 2 added 6 new readily available characters, 3 on the plants and 3 on the zombies. First up on the plants is Colonel Corn. His main attack, called Cob Busters, is an automatic rifle. It's basically the plant equivalent of the foot soldier's gun. His first ability is Butter Barrage, which is pretty much an airstrike. His next ability is called Husk Hop, where he does the sickest thing I've ever seen, oh my god! You do a big flip and shoot downwards. His final ability is called Shock Shot, where he charges up and shoots a rocket that does a lot of damage. You ain't fooling me, PopCap. I know what you're doing. Automatic rifle, grenade, big jump, big rocket. This is just the foot soldier. While I understand why they want the plants to have a character like the foot soldier, since he is the best character in the game, they could have changed it a little bit more. The airstrike and leap abilities are different enough, but come on, this is literally the same. Still goes an A tier though. Next up is... there? The Rose is a very unique character. Her main attack is called Magic Thistles, which fires slow-moving projectiles that actually home in on targets. They don't do much damage because of this, but all you need to do is hover your crosshair over the enemy, and it's almost guaranteed to hit. Her first ability is called Time Snare, where she throws a grenade that slows down any zombies in its radius. Her next ability is called Arcane Enigma, which makes you invulnerable for a limited time, but at a cost of the power's length, you can damage nearby zombies. Her last ability is called Goatify, which, just straight up, turns zombies into goats. I guess someone must have used that one on me. I honestly thought this character wasn't gonna be that good, but she's so easy. I barely even have to aim, I love it. But I do feel like her abilities are a little lacking, mostly because I've hit a total of 0 people with the GOAT ability. B tier. And finally for the plants, you've got Citron. Citron is Wrecking Ball from Overwatch, except it came out before Overwatch, so in reality, Wrecking Ball is Citron from Garden Warfare. His main attack is Orange Beam, and they didn't lie. It does pretty horrific damage, to be honest, but it is very accurate. His first ability is EM Peach, which is a very clever name. It's a stun grenade that prevents zombies from using their abilities. His next ability is Citron Ball, which turns you into a ball, which makes this the fastest character in the game by far. While in ball form, you can use a speed boost ability to go even faster, or go bowling. His last ability is Peel Shield, where you put up a shield that you can shoot through, but enemies can't. Overall, I think that Citron is very fun to play, but he isn't very good. He's good at not dying, but he's also not very good at killing people. D tier. Now, onto the zombies. First up is Captain Deadbeard. He has 2 main attacks, Scatter Shot and Spyglass Shot. When not aiming down sights, you shoot a shotgun blast that only works at close range, but when aiming, it becomes a long-range weapon. His first ability is called Barrel Blast, not to be confused with the Donkey Kong Wii game, Barrel Blast. You hop inside a barrel, Mario Party 2 style, which shields you from damage, and if you light the fuse, you can blow up any plants near you. His next ability is Parrot Pal. By using it, you gain control of a flying parrot that you can use to not only shoot people with, but even launch airstrikes on people too. Oh, come on! And finally, he has Cannon Rodeo, where you hop on a big cannon and you can shoot people. B tier. Next up is Super Brains, with a Z on the end. which makes it cool. This is the zombie's melee character. He attacks by punching enemies, but he can also shoot a laser out of his fists when aiming. His first ability is Super Ultra Ball, which is a Hadouken, but purple. He next has the Turbo Twister, where he spins around very fast and sucks in any nearby plants, damaging them. And finally, he has Heroic Kick, which launches you forward, dealing damage. This character is so fun. Unless you're going up against a surprisingly common return of Jesus H. Christ, you can absolutely decimate an entire team if they just don't turn around. The abilities are fun, he has great movement, and punching people is so much easier than shooting people. A tier. And finally, there's the Imp. And this is the most complex character in the entire game. His main attack is 2 automatic pistols that have a ridiculous fire rate. His first ability is Gravity Grenade, which sucks in any nearby plants into its center, making them a very easy target. He next has Imp Kata, where he spins around rapidly while shooting. Now this character has very low health, but that's because his last ability is a mech suit. It takes some time to charge up, but once it's available, you can call in a mech, which completely changes how the character's played. Your primary weapon is a laser that does very high damage, but overheats over time. The first mech ability is Missile Madness, where you shoot tons of high damaging missiles. I can't lie, this is very broken. Next up, you have Explosive Escape, which is basically a self-destruct. And finally, you have Robo Stomp, where you stomp down, crushing any zombies near you. This character is too good. He's going in S tier because I am scared of what will happen if I put him any lower. Now you may think that's every character, but no. What if I told you that there are 2 secret unlockable characters, Torchwood and Hovergoat 3000? What do I think about them? Well, I wouldn't know. I never unlocked them. Listen, I tried, okay? I tried very hard. You have to unlock this entire secret area, which involved me having to glitch through a wall. And then I found out it would take me like a month to unlock everything. I don't have a month to spare. I have to make video and take a nap. You're both going in E tier. Overall, I think that the addition of these characters are great. In the first game, the plants were kind of dominated by the zombies, but the new characters balance out the teams a lot more. While, yes, everyone still prefers the zombies, that's just how it's always gonna be, it's a cruel world. Okay, onto the modes. Garden Warfare 2 didn't introduce any groundbreaking new game modes, but what they did do is improve the modes they'd already made, such as Graveyard Ops and Herbal Assault. These game modes are basically the opposite of the first game's main modes. Graveyard Ops is exactly the same as Garden Ops, except you're a zombie, and there are plant-themed enemies and bosses. And Herbal Assault is the same as Gardens and Graveyards, except the plants are on attack and the zombies defend. Now while initially this might not seem like much, this makes the game objectively better. To clarify, they didn't replace the original game modes, which means you now have even more options for how you want to play. Also, Gardens and Graveyards and Herbal Assault are bundled into one game mode, which means that you're going to get even more variety in each match. Being a plant no longer means that you're definitely going to be defending, which is great, but rather than just focusing on the game modes in this video, I need to talk about the maps. In Garden Warfare 1, most of the maps were pretty similar. They took place in different locations, but they all felt like they were in the same world. In this game, they went insane. There's a desert map, a snow map, the moon, Japan. I like the maps in the first game, but these are unbelievable. For a nearly 10-year-old game, this looks beautiful. The different locations and themes add so much colour to this game instead of everything having this green tint. So I can pretty safely say this game's maps are better than the first. In fact, I can very safely say that because the one returning map sucks. The only Garden Warfare 1 map in this game is Walnut Hills, which is a good choice. Why does it look like this? I don't know why, but this map looks way worse in this game than in the first game, which doesn't really make sense. Additionally, they made the decision to, on this map specifically, disable the new characters. Why? What's the point of bringing this map back if you're gonna stop people from using this game's characters? The main argument is that it's supposed to be a classic mode that plays just like Garden Warfare 1. You know what I'd play if I wanted to play something like Garden Warfare 1? Okay, aside from that slight hitch, it's pretty clear that this game is a huge step up from the first. But what is the game like now? Well, it's time to find out. Well, before I get into the game's current state, it's impossible to ignore the big problem this game has. Hackers. This game has had a cheating problem for a while, and recently it's gotten much worse, with hackers being able to straight up ban anybody they want, which made getting footage for this game feel like I was in a creepypasta where I bought this game from a yard sale and a possessed Crazy Dave could kill me at any moment. But I was brave. I put on my big brave boots and brave socks and more, and I didn't end up getting banned. I risked my life for this YouTube channel. Alright, here we go. This is the easiest game I've ever played in my life. I'm just holding down click. Oh, maybe what I could do is I can sneak around. Maybe what I can do is... Me and this guy know what's up. Alright, calm down, mate. 14?! 14?! Did a bomb just go off? Alright, why does Crazy Dave look like that? I'm behind you, you stupid bloody shrimp! Big jump! Big jump! Big jump! Alright, I've got a new strategy for how to win if you're playing as a plan. Shit. You can tell I'm desperate. I'm playing Chomper. Just give me one kill. Just one kill's all I want. Just one. Like this guy. Oh, never mind. He decided to go to heaven instead. Gimme! Ah! Just one kill. Please, just one singular kill. That's all I want. I don't care. I don't like that you're 3D. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, oh my god, you just scared the shit out of me. Alright, this is getting ridiculous now. Where is his ass? You know what, I'm just gonna say it. This generation would not last 10 minutes in the oven. After playing Garden Warfare 2 both in current year and for the first time, I have come to the conclusion that yeah, alright, it's better than the first one. The nostalgic part of me wishes I could say, oh, the first one's way better. If you didn't play the first one, you missed out. Unlucky babies. But this game is just more fun. Aside from the current hacker issue, which by the time you're watching this video might not even be a problem anymore, I am in love with how easy it is to have fun in this game. When I revisited the first game, I had to search for a game. Okay, the search failed. Well, I'll search again. Oh, okay, I'm in this time. Alright, there's nobody here. I'll leave. I'll choose a different game mode. Okay, alright, I'm finally in. Okay, there's people, great. Okay, the game's already ended. Whereas in this game, I can just do what I want. There aren't tons of people playing this game nowadays, but there's way more than the first. I had no issues finding matches for pretty much every game mode. And the addition of bot matches is so useful. You can still get XP, do challenges, and get coins from them, so if you don't want to run into any hackers or are playing at like 2 AM getting last minute footage, you can. Although, anytime I set it on anything harder than normal, I got destroyed, so either the bots are too good or I'm... No, it's definitely the bots. While I was making this video, I discovered that this game actually still has a pretty big community. People are still playing every day. There's tons of content being made about the game, and unlike the first game, it doesn't feel like a relic of its time. This game is no different to any other modern game, except it doesn't have a battle pass. So if you were to ask me which game is the better purchase, I would 100% say Garden Warfare 2. And if this video somehow reaches EA, if by the time this video is out, the whole banning players problem hasn't been solved, please do something about it. For the sake of all the people who've played this game for years, you know, it's kind of the least you could do. And if you want to, like, you know, pay me for the free promotion I'm giving you game, just like click that and send me, I don't know, like 50 grand. Garden Warfare 1, a masterfully crafted game that perfectly adapted a classic mobile game into an incredible third-person shooter. Then came Garden Warfare 2, one of the greatest sequels ever made that added even more content to the Garden Warfare formula. These two games built a legacy for this series, and so the logical next step was to throw all of that away. This is Battle for Neighborville. After the success of Garden Warfare and the even bigger success of Garden Warfare 2, PopCap, the game's developers, wanted to keep this series going, which was a no-brainer. They knew the chances of this going badly were incredibly slim. They continued to update Garden Warfare 2 and did so for over 3 years, but over time, less and less people were playing the game, and they knew they had to make a big comeback. And so, in May of 2019, EA announced that a brand new Plants vs. Zombies shooter game was in development, and people were hyped. The Garden Warfare community were so happy. EA were finally continuing this beloved series and were making a Garden Warfare 3. That's an interesting way of spelling it. On September 4th, 2019, players were surprised to see the announcement that this PvZ shooter wasn't a Garden Warfare game. Instead, it went by the title Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. A gameplay trailer was released showcasing the game, and while it looks like a Garden Warfare game, it actually isn't because the pea shooter looks scary. I honestly don't understand why PopCap decided to call it this instead of Garden Warfare 3, because I guarantee the name alone probably turned a lot of people off it. And if that wasn't enough to kill any hype for this game, rather than having any marketing whatsoever, it just came out. No build-up, no teaser trailers, just, hey, game. So Battle for Neighborville was dropped out of nowhere, which resulted in a pretty messy launch, but that's not too big of a deal. What's more important is the actual gameplay. And the first thing I think of when I think Plants vs. Zombies is the characters. Why do they look like that? Looking past them changing the iconic character designs into whatever the hell this is, Battle for Neighborville added 9 brand new characters to the game. Unlike the previous games, BFN splits up the character roster into different classes: attack, defense, support, and swarm. First up on the plants, you've got Nightcap. This character specializes in stealth and attacks by throwing blades, which means that yes, the most annoying person you know will love this character. Her first ability is casting shadows, where she throws a purple smoke cloud, which can be used as something to hide in or offensively as it slows down any zombies in it. Next, there's Feng Fu, where you charge up a flurry of attacks and quickly deal damage to any enemies within its radius. And finally, she has Shadow Sneak, where you briefly turn invisible and gain increased movement speed, which you can use to either get into situations or out of them. Nightcap is pretty fun to play. Being a disgusting sweaty spy main in TF2, I enjoy stealth characters in shooter games quite a lot, but similarly to Spy, dying to this character makes you want to die in real life. A tier. Next, there's Snapdragon. This is a close range character that breathes fire as a main attack and can shoot fireballs as a secondary. His first ability is Swoop Slam, where you fly into the air and then dive bomb, dealing damage on impact. Then he has Blue Blaze, where he shoots a blue homing fireball. And finally, he has Blazing Trail, where you chuck down a wall of fire. This character's pretty good, but let's be honest, this is just a chomper. He looks like a chomper, he plays like a chomper, he's a chomper. Chomper tier. Now the next character, Acorn, is a new type of character. He first has the ability Sap Trap, which is basically a sticky grenade that knocks back opponents, and then he has Acorn Dash, where you quickly spin forward. But where this character gets interesting is with the ability called Invoke Oak. Using this transforms you into a huge oak stump, which other Acorns can board. This means that if multiple people play Acorn, you'll basically have one huge tank on your team. He shoots slow firing explosives that do a lot of damage. You can use Super Sap Trap, which is basically a huge version of Sap Trap. And finally, he has Roll for Damage, where you roll a giant log forward, squishing zombies in its path. This character is pretty good, but if you're playing alone and you need to rely on other random Acorns to help you, it's a little frustrating as the only people still playing this game are babies, but it's probably the coolest concept for a character so far. B tier. Moving on to the zombies for now, we have the 80s action hero. His main weapon is a bow that deals more damage and is more accurate the more you charge it up, which results in this being the most satisfying weapon to use in any game possibly ever. His first ability is Dynamite Dodge, where you drop a stick of dynamite and do a Dark Souls dodge roll. He next has Rocket Ride, which is the most patriotic ability I have ever seen. And finally, he has has Can't Missile, which is an incredibly funny play on words. You shoot homing rockets that either lock onto the closest enemy or the last person you hit with your bow. I love this character more than I love myself. Honestly, it's mostly just the main weapon I'm drawn to. It's just so satisfying to use, especially when you get a kill from a country's length away. S tier. Next up is Electric Slide, which is a weird name for a character. She shoots electric bolts, and if you hit a plant enough times with it, they'll get temporarily stunned, which is a mechanic that I'm sure everyone loves. Her first ability is Funky Bouncer, where you throw a magnet that pulls in any nearby plants and will send them bouncing around with it. She next has Outer Fight, where she evaporates, making her temporarily invincible but can't shoot. And finally, she has Disco Tornado, which summons a small whirlwind, but if you time it right and press E when it's next to a player, it expands into a huge tornado, doing tons of damage. If I'm being honest, I don't really like this character. There isn't much to her other than the tornado ability, which I do enjoy, but there are definitely much better options. E tier. And then there's the Space Cadet, and this is basically the zombie equivalent of the Acorn. She can use Gravity Smash to go up into the air and slam down, dealing damage, or Big Bang Theory Beam, which fires a precise laser after charging up. But her main shtick is that she can turn into an entire space station that other Space Cadets can get on. The main attack is a very slow firing laser, but the Space Force ability increases the rate of fire. And finally, there's Crater Maker, where you fly up and shoot an absolutely devastating laser downwards. Similarly to the Acorn, this character is alright on its own, but it's sometimes difficult to use when you don't have other Space Cadets on your team. I would say the Acorn is a bit better though, so I'll give her C tier. Now you may be thinking, MewZe, didn't you say there were 9 new characters? You only listed 6, you scammer, you schemer. Well, don't worry, there are 3 other characters. Wildflower, TV Head, and the Wizard. However, these need to be unlocked, and the way you unlock these characters is through a specific challenge called giving EA $30. Now, I'm alright with some microtransactions, and if you play the game for a very long time and earn 1.5 million coins, then you can get all these characters for free, but the game already costs $30 to buy, and you expect players to spend that twice in order to play the new characters? No. So, in protest, and I apologise for doing this because I'm sure they're very fun to play, they're going in F tier, and you have EA in their big greedy pockets to thank for that one. Most of these new characters are pretty great additions. Their abilities are unique, the weapons are satisfying to use, and like the previous games, all the different character variants are sure to be... hang on, let me make a quick call. Yeah, hi, I can't seem to find the character variants. Oh. Really? Huh. Okay, bye. They removed the character variants. This is one of the worst decisions PopCap could have possibly made. The different versions of the classes in the first 2 games were what made the game different to every other game. And here, it's been replaced by upgrades, which makes it way more confusing, way more boring, and it means that the players who've played this game for longer are just gonna have straight up better versions of all the characters. When players realised this, they weren't happy, and it's one of the main reasons why this game failed. But don't worry, it's not the only reason. Battle for Neighborville is different to Garden Warfare, as there is much less focus on multiplayer PvP matches. Instead, it focuses more on free roam. Upon starting the game, you immediately spawn into a huge map containing 6 different regions. Dave Manor and Zomboss HQ are simply the spawn locations for the plants and zombies respectively, and this is where you'll find pretty much the same stuff from the second game, such as the matchmaking portal, character select, and of course, the sticker shop. Sticker shop. Sticker shop? Unlike the past games, however, you'll notice in this area, you can actually see other players. And this gets even cooler when you make your way over to Giddy Park, as this is a skirmish area where you can fight actual players in a casual environment. This was one of the few things people wanted from Garden Warfare 2. No longer were you just limited to fighting bots over and over again. Now, you could try out new characters and abilities in a realistic environment without having to load into an actual game. You can also ride the Ferris wheel. which is fun. Then there's the 3 remaining areas: Town Centre, Mount Steep, and Weirding Woods. These differently themed sub-regions are where you'll find the game's main quests. You'll go in either as a plant or zombie, depending on the area, and you'll find NPCs all around the map, and if you talk to them, you get a quest. And here, the game fumbles again. These quests are boring. They all follow pretty much the exact same layout. Talk to NPC, skip through the unnecessary amount of dialogue, go over to area while fighting enemies, fight something specific, go back, skip through more dialogue, repeat. Obviously there are exceptions to this, but a lot of players really didn't like this type of gameplay. And it's a shame because it feels like the developers were really pushing the PvE over the PvP, and it just wasn't very fun. This complete disregard for what people loved about Garden Warfare is what led to this game's failure. And because of this, most people were calling this game the worst game in the series. But some people still had hope. There was still a chance for Battle for Neighborville to be saved. If the developers just continued to update it, made changes to some of the things people didn't like, and added new content, maybe, just maybe, this game could be great. Oh, they've discontinued it. On September 1st, 2020, not even a year after the game released, PopCap announced that they will be discontinuing the game due to its commercial failure. Players were devastated. After the success of both the first 2 games, seeing this attempted revival of the series completely fall flat was a huge gut punch, and many players simply went back to playing Garden Warfare 2, leaving Battle for Neighborville abandoned. However, I was determined to find out if this game was still playable, and to see if maybe the players were just being too harsh on it. Well, it's time to find out. Oh, that music makes me tingly. I'm just saying, guys, if this game was made today, it would be called Woke Plants vs. Woke Zombies. I said it. I'm the only one brave enough to say it.
Memory of the super cereal.
See, that guy agrees. Right, come on, MewZe. You were the #1 rated Garden Warfare 1 player of all time. Okay? Hone your skills. First enemy. Destroyed! Second enemy. Nope. Oh, uh-oh. I think that may have been aimbot. Listen, alright, you guys haven't seen nothing yet. Fucking breathe fire! I got that guy all by myself. They're not gonna expect the attack from above. 1 zillion damage. Uh-oh. Burn. Boil. No, don't run. Fucking destroyed. Right, we're doing a bit of a flank here. Uh-oh. You didn't see me. Yep, that went well. Yep. Perfect. Yep. Yep, nicely done. Yes, nicely done. Hide behind this. Shoot that. Shoot them homing things. Beautiful. Hop up in the air. That was not the air. That was ground level. Citron, man, what did they do to you? He looks like the Roblox man face. Looks like this acorn is airborne. Looks like this acorn will be a-morned. Guess what, guys? This acorn just a-spawned. I'll tell you what, Citron had it bad, but good lord, engineer. What happened? Never mind. Ice Spice?
Lacra, keep it a stack. Bitches want me cause they know I got bands.
You thought I was feeling you? Ice Spice, if you're watching, let's run some Battle for Neighborville. Whoa! I'm a freaking goat. Oh, that feels good. That sound is better than most things. Ain't no one falling for that one, buddy. I'm good. Tell you what, that is an awesome tiger. I'm gonna get that tattooed across my entire chest and back. Watch this, guys. No looker. Watch this, guys. No looker. Subscribe. Alright, not gonna lie, this game gets a lot of shit, but I am having more fun playing this than I do when I play Overwatch. So, like, that either says something about this game or about Overwatch. Come back here. Uh-oh. How did that not damage them? Right, this game's the worst game ever made. See, now I have a reason to call it the worst game in the title. Me when dinner's ready. Me when there's vegetables. Like the video if you relate to that one, guys. That's some of my best work. You think you can beat me? Do you know who I am? The name's MewZe, kid. Look it up on Wikitubia. Hang on. This thing's quite good. Hang on. Right, come on, overtime. We can still do this. Come on. I have to win this game, otherwise I'll look like a loser in front of all my YouTube friends. Guys, just so you know, all 200,000 of you are officially my friends. Alright. That's the truth. I hate you all. If there was a rank for best Joker, I would be on there. Guys, like the video if I'm the best Joker. Critics are calling me the best sniper of all time. I just killed a potted plant. Ah! God, the headshot sound in this game is glorious. I'm actually unbelievable. Someone stop me! Lock me up and throw away the key! Guys, be honest, if I was in court and you were on jury duty, would you convict me? 17, what does this mean? Guys, get map out on this. 1738? Hey? I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? I figured it out, guys. The mystery has finally been solved. Hey, big tree, how about you log off? Right, I'm done. After playing Battle for Neighborville in its current state, I have mixed feelings. I honestly had quite a lot of fun playing the PvP in this game, and that part did feel like Garden Warfare. It's just everything else didn't. I couldn't care less about the PvE missions, and the whole character upgrade system is just so much more confusing than just selecting Cheeto Chomper. I honestly think this game had a lot of potential, but with how many mistakes there were in the game's marketing, changing the main focus of the game, and the unnecessary removal of features that made the first two games special, it was kind of inevitable. The players were right. This is like a Garden Warfare game from an alternate universe where they made all the wrong choices. And it's honestly sad that this is where the series has been left. It's pretty clear that they aren't going to be making another Plants vs Zombie shooter game after the failure of this one. And the fact that what once was a perfect series now has this mediocre stain attached to it is upsetting. Maybe one day PopCap will make a comeback and release a true Garden Warfare 3, but until then, the reality will be that Battle for Neighborville was the last Garden Warfare game we're ever gonna get. And now finally, after going through all three games, I can say that it was the best series nobody plays anymore. Thanks for watching.